Good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing out there? Let's go, let's get it. Hope everyone's having a good start to their final trading day of 2025. And look at Nvidia at open here. Nvidia is on fire. Pushing higher again up through 190 right now. This is a crazy start to the day. SPY moving very well this morning, especially since the initial jobless claims was reported. Jobless claims fell to 199,000 during the Christmas week. Decreased by 16,000, so that's good. That's good, that's good. It's not terrible. Now, of course, the jobs market getting a bit better kind of hurts the outlook for rate cuts, but it just came in very close to expectations. It only fell by 16,000, not a ton. Nothing too crazy there. How are we doing? Tangy Man, Outlaw, Zach, Jose, Steven, Bob, Jake, I love YouTube, Steve, Simon. There we go. Appreciate everybody joining up today. No trading tomorrow, so expect some low volume here. I expect some possible lower volume. Don't be too surprised if we do see a bit of flat trading. Pre-market was great, but we're still actually technically red on the day, 0.03%. Nvidia's not red, though. Nvidia's where that action is. That was a nice opening run there by Nvidia. Final trading day of the year, though. 2025, we are about to kiss it goodbye. How do you guys feel about that? Do you like, did you like 2025's price action? Did you think it was weird? Too choppy for you? Overall, it was pretty good. Just a lot of up and down action. Yeah, CME is killing silver right now, Jake. I mean, if we zoom in on an intraday chart, it looks okay on the 1 minute, but silver again had that big move down last night, as we can see here. Silver dropping off as the CME raised margin requirements again. We've talked about this a lot. If you guys have not seen Sunday's video, you need to go check it out because it's a lot more important than what traders realize. In 2011, the price of silver got demolished. And a lot of people are like, well, what happened? Well, there's a lot that goes on, obviously, in a silver rally, right? What can help push this up? Of course, people jumping into safe haven assets following 08, 09, stuff like that. Still, though, as we went forward, what happened is once we got to like this point here on the chart, the CME started raising margin requirements. They raised it like 5 times within 9 trading days, and whenever they got to like the ending raises of the margin on the 2nd of May, we started to really see it turn over. I think that was the second to last raise that they had. And we saw silver fall 33% in just a few trading days. Really just a couple of weeks. If we count it from the peak all the way to the bottom, it was down over 33%. It looks more like 35%, really. 34.8, whatever you want to say. Very close to 35%. That is a big pullback there just for a couple of weeks. It went from May 12th. The peak was on April 25th. We have to keep in mind, though, that it's only counting trading days. So, pretty crazy, though. Pretty big pullbacks that started to ensue. I think that there's a lot of traders out there that are going to be looking for that same scenario to play out once again with silver. I would not be surprised at all. It does seem like right now silver's getting very choppy here. I ultimately, though, am starting to look for more of a pullback, especially with the CME continuing to do this. Raising those requirements is a big implication on silver itself. It does. Whether we want it to or not, it definitely does. Tangiman's looking at 43% year-to-date gains. You missed the goal of 45. Unless we rip today, still a bigly year. Pulling out that term, bigly. I like it. What's up, Jane? What is going on? But yeah, Happy New Year here to everybody. I know some people are already celebrating New Year, depending on where you are in the world, but tonight, of course, midnight Eastern time, gonna be fun. Maybe midnight Eastern time, maybe. Yeah, maybe nothing too crazy, but. This year was not the year to learn trading, but I finally figured out how to be somewhat profitable. Looking forward to 26. Wow, let's go, Steven. Maybe it was a good year for trading. Who knows? I think it was pretty good. I know that there was some volatility, but there were definitely some uptrends that lasted for a long time as well. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Hey, Joe Kelly retired. That's the big news of the day. Kidding. Why am I seeing that on stock news? That's so weird. Nike shares move higher on big insider purchases by CEO. Director Tim Cook after down year. Nike, NKE. Yeah, Nike's still moving up. I can't, what am I saying? Can't speak today.
Today, Junior?
Oh, give me a break. But no, Nike's up 2%. Tim Cook bought it recently. Looks like the CEO's buying it too. I didn't realize that. Sounds pretty awesome to me. Let me see this here. Apple CEO added around 50,000 Nike shares. A board member, Robert Holmes Swan, added 8,700. The CEO of Nike, Elliott Hill, got 16,400 shares in a transaction valued at $1 million. His personal stake grew by more than 7% as a result. Man, they're buying up Nike very low here. I think that this could be a smart trade to follow with the longer term shares. You're going to have to really know what you're talking about longer term and be willing to hold. I know a lot of you guys out there are not okay holding. You know, you'll be messaging me in a week. Tom, should I sell? Like, no. Like, you'd have to really be willing to hold. Multiple years. But I think that if you're willing to hold on Nike, I think it's a pretty advantageous one to start grabbing here. Very interesting that these big boys are buying it up too. Neo's down 7%. NIO. Damn, Neo. That was quite the pullback there. A few China stocks were moving well yesterday, like Baidu gapped up. It's pulling back a little bit again. Baba actually was shaky yesterday, kind of shaky again here. Shaky again. It was nice to see the high-risk breakouts and the surge bots start to wake up yesterday, though. I'm sure a lot of you noticed that. %2 drops here by MU. Wow, 292 breakdown. 290.50 started breaking down too. The low of pre-market today. Decent support. Yeah, broke right through. Whoa. Yeah, that MU pullback's pretty harsh. Pretty harsh there. Nvidia, same thing. I mean, it had that good opening move. Immediate turnaround. Immediate. How about Intel today? They've had some good action lately. Figure we'll throw them on. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. Oxy, maybe. Little pullback, but it's starting to come up off the dip. Oxy with the little dip buy action. Starting to come out here. Oxy is coming back, which is nice. Let's check crude oil, because that's where the fun really is in my eyes. Check out that daily chart of crude, guys. Bouncing off crucial support, starting to actually get some momentum going here. Might start to finally get a good run finally going. Today it's pushing. Oh yeah. CNC has been by far the best play of the year for you. CNC. Centene. Wow, that's still moving up. Centene might actually break through this recent high again. My gosh, Centene. Yeah, I don't blame that. They said the play of the year. Gosh, I mean, I wouldn't think it's that good, but hey, I'll say if you're doing good on it, I'm happy. That is badass, though. Still coming back, might still fill the gap even more. I spent a lot of time learning about the overall monetary system. Policy by tweet destroyed me for a while. Just didn't prepare for that. I'm not a fan, but not blaming Trump for my bad trading. Yeah, those tweets did come into play there and impact a lot of people. Whether it's great, whether it helped you or whether it hurts you on the tweets, you know, it is weird to have stuff like that impacting things so much. I guess the main thing is, though, you know, it was tweets about China, right? If it was a different person doing stuff, obviously it would just be said to the media or something. Yeah, it's pretty strange though. Most of the time we don't have a China tweet destroying stocks like it did. Let's go back to that April drop just to look at it again, because it was pretty interesting to say the least. I can't believe SPY recovered up and broke through that high so quickly like nothing happened. That really shows the sheer volatility that we got to be prepared for out here. The red day looks kind of bad again here. Definitely a bad end to the year if the SPY closes down here like this. That was a massive turnover from that pre-market rally. Looks like we're not going to be ending the year in the green. As of now. Lots of time left on the day. Watch by market close, we'll be testing the all-time high. That'd be funny. I wouldn't put it past this market right now. You're running late, the story of your life. Me too. OSS one-stop systems. Hey, pretty nice action from last night. They got to around $8 and slowed down. One-stop systems. How's Snap? Snapchat's starting to do pretty good again today. Up 0.5%, breaking through the high from yesterday. Seems like it's moving pretty slow today, but the day just started. We could have a nice slow chop up. I'm drinking the Naked smoothies this morning. I've been starting to drink these early on before the streams. It helps me out a lot. I got like a 24-pack of these at Costco. The price blew my mind. It was like such a good deal. Ah, just destroyed the strawberry banana one. Hell yeah, they are great. Santa got a Garmin for Christmas and lost GPS in 2018. What? A Garmin for Christmas. What is Garmin stock? Forgot. GRMN makes sense. Ooh, big gap down recently with Garmin. Garmin's interesting here. I'm more of a Bushnell guy. At least for rangefinders. Oh, I just realized my dad has like one of those $500 Bushnell rangefinders. That's funny. I'll get to take it now. Totally forgot about that. Appreciate you joining up, West. Better late than never, right? Palantir pulling back again. This is the 4th red day in a row if this continues. Another massive drop at open for them. Man, Palantir, you're going to be pissing everybody off here into the end of the year. Nvidia still red. They hit resistance this morning after that nice pre-market rally and really turned it over. Santa is pissing us off to end the year, it looks like. So the Santa rally started. Let me get the number. Oh, shoot. Let me go to SPY really quick and get the number again. We'll just go from the open of the Santa rally. Wednesday the 24th. What was the opening number? It was 687.56. So if you're looking at 687.56, the opening of pre-market on Wednesday, December 24th with the SPY. You know, the SPY is well below there right now, trading for 685.83. Essentially, you're looking like very close to 0.2% to the downside, 0.23. Very interesting there. SPY's not too far off. This could end up being a green Santa rally, and then traders will be very upset though, because obviously it was very choppy but just barely squeaked out some green, right? That could end up happening. Rally? Dangerman said, I would like to point out that some of us are delighted with the pullback as it lets us buy back covered calls on the cheap so we can sell them again in a week or two for pork chop money. Yeah, there's always the other side of the trades, right? I just know that in the short term, there's been a lot of hate with the Santa rally this year. I guess I can't blame traders, though. You made 300 on the Santa rally, but sold on the 26th because it looked weak. Wow, so you sold like right away. Nice, yeah. That's not bad, Jane. That's really not too bad here for the way it's been moving. Kind of like you sniped it a bit. All right, there we go. SPY starting to bounce a little bit back up here, back through 686, which is a good sign. I've been using 686 as the main support, but held for only 2 days. That's awesome. You bought it the day before Christmas, held through Christmas, and sold the next. That's pretty funny. Santa literally came to town for you, Jane. That's funny. The rally was looking really good there for those couple days. I was pretty excited. Can't lie. Tangi goes, the wheel is undefeated. Hard to beat it for sure. Damn, Tesla. Look at that price action here. Kind of getting into a wedge. Tesla loves to do this. What's the issue with Tesla? It's had 5 straight down days. Yeah, it's on the 5th one right now, right? Pretty decent pullback. You know, Palantir's been pulling back like that too. It's very similar on the setup, actually. Let me take my drawings off of this one. Very similar on the setup here on the pullback by both of these two stocks. I think it just goes to show there's just a little bit of weakness out there. Tesla had some delivery numbers come out. I know that that was a bit negative yesterday whenever you think about the overall market. I believe that these numbers were under analyst estimates. Let me find the exact number here. Here we go. Yep. They're expecting 422,850 car deliveries in the 4th quarter. That's down 15% year over year and below the 447,000 delivery estimate that was expected. So, came in under expectations on deliveries. Of course, not the best thing to see, right? They anticipate 1.75 million deliveries next year, under the 1.86 million deliveries the analysts had thought they would have. So, they're coming in with expectations just a little bit too low, at least for right now. In the ultra short term, that's what's hurt them. Again, though, over the past like 5 trading days, some of the downside could just be due to resistance. Go check on Oxy and Zom again today. They're coming back, it looks like. Oxy's making the comeback. Would be huge to continue with these energy plays. Taiwan Semiconductor. Whoa, TSM popping off. Nice to see that. 304.50, 305 breaking here. Wow, that's a nice 5-minute candle by TSM. Got some news. Man, that's a good rip. It didn't really move too much initially at open. They had some Nvidia news this morning with TSMC, but man, now that we're... Looks like ever since like 9:51, 9:52, we've been flying. Past 8 to 9 minutes or so. Man, TSM is a banger. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is still the Model Y for sure, Coconut. That is interesting, isn't it? But hey, that's Tesla's numbers, not mine, so that's their own numbers that they came out with. The thing with Tesla is going to be all their future endeavors, like the Optimus robots. Maybe these robo-taxis start becoming more mainstream. They said, it's funny, me and my buddy got that news yesterday when we were driving in his Model Y. That's perfect. I was always surprised that the Y ended up becoming the more popular one, but I guess it makes sense. I guess I just always thought the 3 would beat it, but I guess people want more room, right? More room. Gosh, some of these things are so cheap. There's a Tesla Model Y, a 2021 model for sale around me with 39,000 miles for $21,000. That's very cheap. I found one for like 27 with similar miles. Same year. Yeah, a lot of them are like around 30 grand. It's interesting. They're not very expensive for... some people might think that's expensive, but for cars, that's not very expensive nowadays. 3 is too small and X is too much, so Model Y is perfect. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Oh, really? Well, that's good to hear, Mason. What about, like, the batteries getting old or something? That's what I'm always worried about with electric cars, is, like, if it falls out of warranty and then you have to replace the batteries. He goes, that's the catch. Yeah. More on battery life. That makes a lot of sense. Speaking of that, how's Lucid and Rivian doing? I've not looked at these ones in a while. Wow, Lucid really fell through. I was looking at a recent support around 12 with Lucid, but yeah, they really broke back through. Not a good sign. Rivian's been holding this trend line, which is nice. There was a play entered on July 17th of this year. I bet that big money trader is happy as hell with the way that this one's went. If they longed it right there. It's like having an iPhone for a car. Hopefully those batteries stay pretty solid. NNE played out well. Nano nuclear energy. Whoa, NNE. very well as it dropped. Yeah, NNE ended up really rejecting down there on that daily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If today's candle ends up closing red, that'd be 7 red candles in a row. Even if the candle goes green, it'll still be a red day, so that'll be something to think about too. The candle can go green if there's a gap down, but then the market opens and then it moves up from there, but it doesn't get all the way up to fill the gap. Then it will post a green candle, but it doesn't mean it was a green day. To count it green on the day, you have to look at the close from the day before compared to the close the day after. Lucid will go the way of iRobot. Oh, IRBT. That one got destroyed lately. Oh, gosh. It started to get all that hype in the short term, and I feel bad for all the newer traders that were probably like, oh my gosh, IRBT, I'm going to jump onto the next short squeeze or something like that. I feel kind of bad. That was a terrible move. They announced that bankruptcy shortly after that big pump. That was weird. That was definitely weird. The Tangy Man. Thank you, Tom, for another great year. Let's go, Tangy. Thank you, sir. Thank you as well. Another nice year here with everybody. How many years have you been watching now, Tangy? I know it's been a long time. Probably since like 2020. Very awesome, though. Glad to see you, sir. Thank you for the super, as always.
All right, all right, all right.
April of 2020. Yup, that's what I thought. That is what I thought. A true OG of the community here. The year Jane joined too. Yup. April 2020, COVID times. There we go. Hell yeah. Oh gosh, that is crazy to think about. Mason 6 years ago. Wow. That truly is crazy to think about. Spies is moving down to test the low of the days here. Santa is pissing us off. Oh man. The Stock Labs news isn't working today. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, Stock Labs is down, it looks like. You were looking for workout music? No way. That's pretty funny. Oh my gosh, SPY, new low of the day, just touched. Dang, SPY. Oh, I guess low from open, I should say. Not quite. Pre-market lows were 685 even, so watch out for 685 even as it drops. We're about 25 cents out. Wow, SPY. Even more bearish price action here. Hey, thanks, KJ. AMD, Baba. Appreciate that. Do you think if Intel gets back to 40 bucks, it'll be the result of a head and shoulders pattern? Let's see. Oh, like an inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, like you draw out the head. Boom, boom, boom. We do need that little drop to touch that neckline again, or the shoulder line, whatever you want to call it. Very consistent with Intel. It would be nice to see it get back down there. Looking at Intel, it's been following a long-term trend line as well. It's hard to say whether you call it a inverse head and shoulders or you just call it a simple move up off the trend. Either way, if it falls back down to like 36, I'll be looking to snipe it for a play like that for sure. Back towards 40. I think if it gets back towards 40, it'll just be the result of buying pressure because of good news lately. All right, let's go check out Ferrari here. Look at race really quickly. Ooh, falling down again. I know this has been a very interesting stock to me in 2025. I know a lot of people like to bring up the fact that race is doing bad as maybe showing some signs of a weakening economy a bit. I know it's not necessarily something that, you know, you have to live and die by, but it's something that is important. Every time I am killing it on my trading, my husband fights with me and gets me in my head, and I lose all my gains. Having a supportive family is important when doing this. I could see that playing a role for sure. There's some people that literally meditate before they trade to get themselves in the zone. So, you know, having a clear, focused mind is definitely something that is very, very helpful there. Of course. You've been sitting here for hours looking at graphs? But you haven't taken out the trash. I should do that. Thank you for saying that, Tom. No problem, Outlaw. That is something that a lot of people really, I don't think about enough. You know, especially going into the new year. Maybe it's something you start trying out in 2026 or something, right? Maybe clearing out your head more. Maybe getting in a good space, the good mindset for trading. Man, Tesla started really falling out of this wedge here as it got to the end. It's been kind of negative since that point. SPY as well, bouncing off 685. Watch out, that's the low of pre-market, by the way. That's going to be a big support intraday for here. 686 has been a previous level from the past. 685 established this morning, so we have to take what recently established as the more serious level. Coming up though, 683.30 will be huge to test. I like this range coming up. Below there, 682 is also critical. It's weird. SPY is in a very choppy zone right now where it's really chopped around a lot here to end the year. So just don't be surprised. You know, we could be seeing some chop. This is a period of the year where we generally get more slower price action coming out. If we look at a lot of articles and a lot of data out there, you know, you can find stuff that really suggests that, you know, this is a slower time of the year. Like, watch for, you know, a Christmas to New Year slowdown. 100%. I mean, we look at right here. Fewer market participants are active. Liquidity shrinks and spreads widen. Global equity markets trade at only 45 to 70% of normal volume between 23rd of December and the 1st of January. Currency markets tend to fall by 30 to 50% in the second half. Wow, that's weird. Futures and options volumes also roughly fall 40% in late December. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's just something to be careful of. Something to be careful of here. Lower volume, weird movement, weird trading scenarios playing out. The market is open for the full day today. No early closes. Same thing on Friday. Nothing crazy there, but all closed tomorrow on Thursday, January 1st. Thank God. What are your thoughts on Nvidia? I think yesterday you mentioned shorts were ringing from the bot. Yeah, there might have been some short opportunities on like maybe the SM bot yesterday. Maybe that was where I was talking about. I'm not 100% sure there which thing I meant. But yeah, you know, that was probably more of a day trade. For today, Nvidia seems very choppy. I want to lean more up given how Nvidia has been moving here. You know, it was a good recovery today. I think that getting and holding above like 187.50 to 188 is like a critical sign to see here for Nvidia. As long as the support continues to hold, I'll be watching for a possible trend of higher lows to come up from this point. Kind of like this. Ooh. Hey, while this is here, guess what I'm gonna make, guys? I made a Cybertruck. Now let's make the window, and let's make it all messed up from that glass, from that ball. I don't know why. It looked like wheels or something there. So silly. But nonetheless, I am watching for that trend to play out. But watch like a trend like that, because even if we get that trend, you know, there's still going to be these like wild intraday moves like what happens here and here. You know, like big drops in both directions, right? That's intraday volatility at its finest. And I think in the short term, especially Nvidia, has been seeing a lot of that intraday volatility where it has those crazy reversals. If we keep that in mind, it might not be a bad idea to try to buy up the dip at some point and use some of these lows as stop loss areas. Like let's say you start to buy up the dip here on Nvidia, and you know you're looking at, okay, generally it's been chopping back lately, so you know maybe you set it up like this. Your risk reward is close to 2. There's a lot of other ways you could go. You can maybe wait for the lower support to touch. That'd probably be safer, so that you could extend, you know, you could try to snipe it a bit more there, but it could, you know, it might not get down there, right? Tough to say how you'd want to set it up. And then if you failed on the first breakout, you know, you'd probably want to try to snipe it again somewhere down here for a second go at it, and possibly try to catch that move if you missed the first one. When I get a job, I am getting out of here. Oh no, Jane. Jane, go buy a Porsche or something. That'd be in his name. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that. I'm kidding. MSTR puts. She goes, it's going to be my best trade ever. With high risk comes high reward, Jane. Down 1.3% MicroStrategy on the SM bot again. That's pretty rough. Man, MSTR just continues to disappoint. Falling off. How's Bitcoin? Bitcoin has gotten so flat. It's almost like I forgot that Bitcoin was Bitcoin with the way it's been moving here. It's getting very flat and choppy. Jose says, thank you. I low-key have some shorts open. I'll probably take the L. I would just set up a stop. You know, maybe set up a stop somewhere wherever you're comfortable at and just let it play out. You know, Hale, I've never been too crazy in crypto. I don't really research it too much. I don't believe in it as much as some people do. I think that there can be money to be made there on, obviously, crypto, right? It's really nice to see, Bitcoin perform so well over the past few years. You know, it's hard to go wrong whenever you have this type of performance. Like, let's say we just go back to, I don't know, 2018, right? Let's just go like right in the middle of the range or something. You know, up to recent highs. I mean, it's up 1,300%. I mean, it's hard to beat stuff like that. So for the long term, I think it'll be fine. It's just you need to be a little careful with it. What I mean by that is I would try to average in on these dips. I wouldn't buy in too close to the top. I think right now Bitcoin's a sizable way, or sizable enough amount away from the top to start justifying a possible averaging in. But just realize, you know, crypto can go through like these 2-year periods and stuff of major pullback, and you'll just have to be really willing to, number one, weather the storm, and number two, average in to get your average price lower during that time. We call that dollar cost averaging. But you're going to want to definitely keep buying in as it drops to get your price lower. Oh man, you don't think Bitcoin's gonna go to 1 million by 2027? You already know. That's funny. So with China export controls starting the 1st, is it safe to say that silver will continue to fall? Well, you know what? If you think about it this way, Steve, and we need to all maybe take a second and pay attention for silver really quick, because there's a lot going on with silver. So I'm going to like list these things out here. The first thing going on with silver, geopolitical tensions, right? This is more of a bullish, something that's bullish, right? People get scared of those tensions. They want to buy silver to protect themselves. Same with gold. You know, it's good to own these safe haven assets during times of uncertainty, especially with stuff like wars and tensions in that sense. Another thing that's kind of bullish for silver in the short term, momentum. You know, there's a lot of bullish momentum here. A lot of traders are buying it. It's snowballing this up. Obviously, it's becoming very popular, almost kind of like Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin gets all hyped up and everyone goes nuts, or Tesla or Nvidia or whatever, right? Silver's kind of like the next big thing right now. Number 3, China export controls. And then constrained supply. Bullish. So what this does, as we start to see supply dwindle down with silver and, you know, continue to dwindle, right? More people need silver. The demand's there. It's used in tech. It's used in a lot of things, especially like coming up over the past 3 to 5 years or so, maybe 2 years. We've started to see like solar come into play. You know, I mean, it's used in so many technologies, and it's very important. So whenever you think about silver, with the supply becoming constrained, if the demand is still there, you know, now a lot of you might not have taken macro and microeconomics, but on an economic standpoint, if you look at a supply demand curve, if you start to see supply become constrained while demand is there, prices rise, right? Everybody wants it, but there's not enough of it. So prices naturally go up. Kind of like graphics cards for all of our, it's a really good example for all of our traders out there and just gamers even, right? Let's say you weren't even trading at the time, but you were a gamer. Like during COVID, like 2020, a lot of people wanted to buy, let's say, the PlayStation 5, right? PS5s, everybody wanted them. Everyone. Especially because everyone was at home, you know, working from home, you know, you could play games easy, stuff like that. Everybody wanted it. So essentially what happened, there wasn't enough supply to keep up with demand. So what happened? You saw $500 PS5s selling for $2,000, $3,000 sometimes, whenever it was really hot. Normally I saw them selling for like $1,000 or $1,500, something like that. But you guys get the point. You know, the same thing happened with Nvidia GPUs, right? Same thing. Now there are some bearish things coming up with silver too, right? Bearish. Bearish. CME raising margin requirements. Very, very bearish. What this does is people who are trading futures contracts, now they have to end up paying more to keep those contracts and hold them overnight. So what happens is, let's say they have a ton of these contracts, and let's say that the margin requirement, let's just say, goes up by 15%, right? That's per contract. So now they have to look at, okay, how many contracts do we have to close to have the same amount of exposure as right now? And that sometimes can result in a lot of liquidation in the silver market. So that stuff is very important in that sense. A lot of traders don't really understand that or how that works, but you can actually go back and read about how it happened in 2011. It even happened somewhat in like 1980. So there's a lot of scenarios. You know, of course, some people will go do the research, some won't. But I think that would be a fun thing to do for like the next couple days. You know, maybe research up on silver here, and it might even help you to maybe enter into a put play. You know, I don't think it's the worst thing ever to take a stab at some put opportunities here with silver. Really, another bearish thing with silver. Let's see. Something more bearish with silver right now. I'm not really seeing too much on the bearish side, or nothing that I'm thinking of like right offhand, except for those margin requirements being raised. Another bearish thing would be that while momentum's here, you know, I think that this is definitely something that is starting to come into play. There is starting to become that fear of overextension going on. So this is kind of like everything hitting silver right now. And the hard part is like, which ones do we say have more play on silver? Like, is the CME raising their margin requirements, is that going to beat out all of these bullish scenarios for silver? It's a tough question to weigh. And I think that that's why we've been seeing a lot of up and down action the past few days, because there's a lot of traders out there that, you know, again, like they see the CME raising margin requirements and they know that that's a very, very bearish thing. It literally forces liquidation. So that's why we saw these two terrible red days. You know, right now at the top, again, I don't think it's too bad of an idea to possibly start to look at some silver puts. I don't think it's terrible. If silver does start to fall, let me check silver one really quick on this chart. I'm just curious on that implied volatility. Yeah, okay, let me go to a daily. Okay, so the IV has been jumping a lot. So the premiums are pretty high. So that's going to be one slight negative here. Premiums on these put options are going to be very high. You might be able to do like a put debit spread, where what you'll do is you'll buy like a 65 strike put, and then you'll sell like a 62 strike put, for example. You'll get a debit there, and you'll get to see that'll be what you trade, is those two sides of that. It'll be still a bearish setup trade. It just gives you a little bit of protection so that you're getting some of that premium back, and what you're doing is you're taking advantage of the high implied volatility. There's lots of other ways you could set it up too, but that's just the more easier, simple way that I would probably go with. Yeah, Steve. The advanced course is awesome. I mean, it gets into so many different strategies and ways to trade. So let me tell you about that, because it was something that whenever we made the advanced options course, you know, we strategized and we said, okay, what would traders really like as far as like advanced option strategies, you know? So number one, almost like all of the advanced strategies are focused on in there. But number two, the big thing is that it really focuses in on the ways that Mike trades too. Like some of the better ways, some of the better strategies that he personally likes the best, and the ones that has brought him more success than the other ones, we'll say. Those are focused on the most. And I think that's one of the biggest deals with that course, is that it really focuses on, like, it's not just like, it does cover like almost every advanced strategy, but it really hones in on the more important ones. And then also at the same time, you actually get access to Mike via email whenever you get that. So you can ask Mike like any question that you'd want at any time, and he'll pretty much answer you within a day or two with maybe setting up the trades, maybe, you know, questions about the strategy, stuff like that. Oh, 100%, Steve. Robinhood is not... if you're a true options trader, you need to really upgrade. Most people are too hard-headed to really do it, though. I actually don't even like to talk about it anymore, because it generally makes traders pissed. I've noticed if you start saying that Robinhood sucks, they all get mad. So I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is, I guess. Even TradingView is better than Robinhood, Mason says. Yep. It really is. What brokers do they let you put on here again? Let's see. You can add on TradeStation onto TradingView, Interactive Brokers, TradeAvate, Moomoo, Tasty FX. Oh, there's Tasty Trade. There it is. Webull you can add on. I didn't know that. I haven't done that in a long time. Dorman Trading. I haven't heard that name in years. Dorman Trading. No way. That is funny. I can't even believe I'm seeing that. TradeStation, though, is probably the most popular one if you were going to add one on here. But hell, you could even add a broker on and trade on TradingView if you wanted. Granted, I think it's more laggy and stuff. I'd rather stick with the broker directly, but It skips times of the day where you'll miss trades. I told them a few times about it, but they never fix it. Yeah, they don't care. 300Z. I like your name, by the way. 300Z Nismo. Hell yeah. Badass little cars. Microsoft's really pulling back down today, though. Back towards the bottom end of the range. Looking at the Mag 7 setup. SPY bouncing at 685. Still holding that pre-market support. But it is starting to bounce a little bit. Hale says, Tom, I need SMR to break 14. Any chance I kind of get your thoughts? Or a book map? Let's see SMR. You need to break 14. Let's see. It got pretty close today, down to like 1406. Looking at the daily, I could see it breaking through 14 if you give it some time today. I could see it. It's in an active downtrend. I would think it continues down at some point here. Or at least touching 14. Whoa! I have some cameras outside and I got an alert. And I'm looking and there's a big ass buck in my backyard. Anybody want to come hunt? $500 and you can hunt all you want in my backyard. Pretty strange. Normally, I've been seeing lots of does, but never really bucks. But today, I finally saw one. That's just Hunter. If it was Hunter, there'd be a moose back here. I still can't believe he gets close to moose. Here's my big question, guys. Do you call, is the plural of moose, mooses or meese? That sounds... I'm pretty sure it's mooses, but, or it's just moose. Oh, like multiple moose. I see. I see. Okay. No S at all. Ah. I just thought that sounded funny. Always like to check my grammar, you know? Mooses, meese. Turns out I was wrong all along. It's just moose. There's multiple moose out here. Mr. James throws out the emoji of a moose. Tesla is so slow and just consolidating hard today. Man, Tesla, come on. Palantir trying to bounce here off 180. All right. $180 support move here. Dice is weird. You'd think one dice is die and multiple is dice, but it's the opposite. I know, I'm starting to think people just make this crap up. Some of it doesn't have any rhyme or reason to it. I remember learning like language in college. And it's so weird, you know, because a lot of people will take a hard stance. They'll say, like, for example, that, like, ain't, like, is not a word, right? But whenever you start to look at it, I mean, it's weird. It's literally, like, in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary's website. Like, sure, it might not be the more proper way to talk, right? But I mean, again, it's here it is. You know, here's ain't right here. Like it says right here, Mark Twain said, "But that ain't no matter." It's weird. There's a lot of differences in language, and language actually adapts over time, where some words become words that were never words before. You know, it's strange, but that's how it is. Some of the ones I'm kind of thinking of here is like Trump. Trump says a lot of these things, like bigly. Right? Bigly. Right? A lot of people say that that's not like a proper way to say things or talk or whatever. But I mean, here it is on dictionary.com. Apple pulling back. Actively just dropped under the low of the day. Pretty decent support just gave out here with Apple, so watch out. Might be seeing a bigger drop here. Aoli said, think for Robinhood, swing trades and leaps might be better. Yeah, it's definitely better for that. Swing trades and leaps for sure. I think it's fine for stuff like that. Even if you just want to like buy and hold long-term stock or something, you know, I think it's fine. For day traders who do options though, or even just more advanced option strategies, like you might be doing swings, but they're advanced options swings. I still think that it's important to get a better broker. You want Fidelity to approve you? Hey, I've heard Fidelity is very hard to get approved with. I have heard that they are one of the harder people for approvals. Now, I'm not saying to do this, Aoli, but wink, wink. I would never do this, but I've heard that people like to fudge their answers on those things. And sometimes they like to put down that they've been doing it for 10 years and yada, yada, yada. So, again, I'm not saying to go do that, but I've heard that there's certain ways to get approved easier than others. VT says, I tried that. It didn't work. I have over 1,000 options trades. They are not budging. I'm stuck at tier 1. Can't do spreads. Oh, that sucks. Man, that sucks. Most people I know who have this issue, they end up switching to like Thinkorswim or somebody that allows them to do it. it's not technically a lie. It's just foreshadowing. That's funny. Speaking of this, BLSH is down today, 2.2%. It keeps showing up on the SM bot here. Amazon's all over the bot too, to the downside. Oh yeah, I see why. Just dropped under a big support intraday. 231.75. Apple puts are all over the bot too. We've been eyeing up Apple as it dropped. Microsoft on there. DLR, what is that one? Digital Realty Trust. It's pretty big pullback today for that. Yeah. The main reason that came up, Outlaw, is because we're trying to talk about how these other platforms are a lot friendlier towards options traders. Like you'll get way more tools and like even more like order types and stuff like that to help you with options if you're getting into more advanced stuff, but wow, Palantir has been rejecting so hard here. Oh, you heard Moomoo's pretty good. I swear, you guys already know my thoughts on Moomoo. I've heard it's a pretty good broker from word of mouth, but I've seen a lot of a few weird things with Moomoo, we'll say. The name bothers me, though. That's the one big issue for me. If it's all I could get approved for, though, I would use it in a heartbeat. You got TradeStation. They immediately approved you to Tier 4, but their platform is more complicated. Yeah, it is a bit complicated. It's kind of like Thinkorswim, I guess, in that sense. I've actually used TradeStation in the past. I'm a big fan, VT. If you asked me, if you said, Tom, besides Thinkorswim, you know, and I'm starting to get into options, what would be a good platform? I would go with two other options. I would say, or I guess three, but really two. I would mainly say right away TradeStation. That would be my number 2 answer. Number 3 would be Interactive Brokers. And number 4 would be Fidelity. That would be the 4 that I would recommend over any others. They're all fairly complicated, but like I always tell people, you know, the majority of traders lose. Do you want to be in that majority that stays super simple and, you know, does everything the easy way? Not me. I'd rather do things the hard way, the right way, and hey, if it takes me an extra week or 2 to learn, fine, so be it. At least after those 2 weeks, I'll be a better trader, right? I think that's the mindset everybody should have. You need a magnifying glass? You could probably make it more zoomed in somehow. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think it would take that long to learn at least the easy stuff. I don't think it should take a week at all. I think within like 1 or 2 days you could learn, especially if you've been trading for a long time, or, you know, like you said, if you're a full-time trader, I would think you'd have the capability to get it down pretty quick. Just watch like a YouTube video real quick. How to place orders. Boom, there you go. That's the basics of most of what you need. Because keep in mind, you can still use your old platforms to maybe look at the charts or set that stuff up while you're learning those new ones. As long as you just know how to place the orders. I got cut off. Who'd you say your number one? Number one is Thinkorswim or Charles Schwab, 300Z. With a trade station just under that. Followed by Interactive Brokers and Fidelity. Speaking of Thinkorswim, how's our Mag 7 setup? Apple looks rough. Nvidia started turning over again. Gosh, everything's pulling back, dragging on the SPY. Looks like we're going to be ending 2025 with another nasty red candle. Uh-oh. Damn, SPY, that's a pretty big pullback starting there. Yeah, I'm going to say pretty brutal. For sure. Long-term accounts are not loving this movement today, I'll tell you that. Down thousands on that one today. Big red candle. At least it's not like the other week, though. That was a pretty rough few days there, too. Middle of December. Even the beginning of November. You know, big pullbacks. Very choppy here lately. It was nice when we ran up to highs, but we need to get some better movement going here. I say we get a flash crash on SPY for January 1st. SPY to $100. We all buy and it goes right back. That'd be nice to get a flash crash going. For a quick dip buy and then huge recovery, I'd take it. If it played out that way. With our luck, SPY would go all the way down into January 20th or something. By the way, that's my birthday, guys. January 20th. Wink, wink. Coming up soon. I'm actually set to move on January 20th, too. I haven't told you guys that yet. It's been a bit of a surprise, but I'm actually set to move on January 20th. Been working on that for a while. I'll give you all my address and we can have a big party. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, hopefully it goes well, James. I'm hoping that the process goes smoothly and all that. So far, so good. No, not out of state. Still in Missouri, Steve. Like and subscribe for the big party at Tom's. It'll be like that. What's that movie called? Like Weekend at Bernie's or something like that? My Cousin Bernie or Ernie? I don't know, something like that. Remember that? There was like a party and the guy died? And then they acted like he was alive all weekend? That was a pretty funny one. Oh, at the empty house? No. Make sure you do it before I buy it so I can ask for more money off, Mason. Oh, at our house. I see. Yeah, that's not as bad then. That's fine. It's our house now. Imagine the new people, Rick. They'll be like, who the hell are you guys? And you'll be like, well, we're here for Tom. And you all rush through the front door. Those new people would think that we were nuts. Man, SPY pulling back. Another put day. Another day for the puts. Mason, did you happen to grab any puts there? $30,000 square feet. Maybe just divide that by 10, Mason, and that's about it. He's been holding puts. Hey. Pretty good today again as it broke through that low of pre-market. Definitely moved down well in after hours yesterday for you, so. Almost back. Nice. Wow. On the flight to Vegas. Yeah, it was a weird move. That was some weird price action last week, I gotta say. It is making that comeback, though. My gosh. Holding through this chop must have been stressful. Southwest free Wi-Fi is dangerous. I haven't gotten to use the free one yet. I always had to pay like 10 or 15 bucks or something. Or no, I have the Southwest credit card, so I think I got it for free, but I don't remember. Free for everyone now. That's really neat. Now you don't have to pay for your checked bags. You just have to do that crap. Alrighty, guys. Well, SPY's not really performing well today. Few growth stocks are trying to move up. QBTS might try to go for that high of day break. If you watch some of these, they are starting to move a bit. So maybe keep your eyes on UUUU as well. Again, right at the high of the day. Might be trying to go for a breakout. Most stocks, though, today down into the red. Pretty weird, choppy, and boring negative price action. You know, some stuff like Moderna has been very directional. Even SPY has been very directional from open. You know, there's been put opportunities out there. Definitely not the way I was looking for the market to move today, but especially after that pre-market move. 100% I was leaning more up today after that, but let's go. We're going to call it there. Have a happy new year, Jason. Love you too. Happy New Year, Steve. Coconut, Brain, Mason, VT, James, Rick. I love YouTube. The other James, as in Mr. James. Aoli, Outlaw Star, Blue-Eyed Wolf, 300Z. Love that name. Jason. Always appreciate you joining up, Jason. Hale. Jane. Jose Flores. Spy Sprinter. Simon. Cassandra. KJ. Cookie Bones, like it. Alex. Yeah, let's go. Final trading day of 25. If you have some good profits today, post them up in the profits channel. You might just get member of the day for tomorrow's video. Don't forget to check out that video tomorrow night. But alrighty, guys. Let's go. Let's crush it. If you're not yet in the trading floor, use code CRUSH2026 at checkout for $100 off the yearly. Check it out. Grab the deal while it's live. Other than that, I will talk to you guys later and see you in the Discord, hopefully. If you're not in the Discord, it's free to join. Check out the link in the description. Crush 2026 is that code. Mason just threw it out there. Been a hell of a 2025, Brain says. It's scary. Such a weird year. Santa Rally isn't looking promising. I'm still hoping we can make that comeback before January 5th, though.